You need to write these down. I'm not joking. So let's say this day is empty and this is the previous day, right? We're about to go into trading this day. What levels do I need to have beforehand? Remember this, the previous day high. You need to have that marked. A lot of the time, if you have a really long wick, you need to have it down to the meat as well. So just remind yourself if it's too wide, just sometimes I like to highlight it. And I'll show you a trick here in a second that'll ease that up for you. The previous day low, you need to have that marked. That is a very, 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 very strong intraday level, right? Previous day I'm sorry, pre-market high, pre-market low. These are just as good as previous day high, previous day low. So put those down on a tier, on a list for yourself. Those 4 levels are basically, let's just call it level 1. All right, now level 2. These are what I call pivot points. These are levels that bears or bulls can take control of, and this is where you get your retest plays from that like you like to take, which is great because those are the best types of trades you can take a retest trade. So good job. You don't even have to practice that. Now you just need to practice on taking them from better areas, which again you already kind of are. You're taking them from supply, demand, good levels from the bigger time frame. So you're already kind of in line with how everyone trades in my chat and how I teach. Now I think if you just refine it a little bit, you're gonna be fucking killing it. But again, take your time, be patient, focus on that staircase method I was telling you about. Again, focusing on 1 contract, then doing 3, getting really comfortable with 3, selling 2 at the first, selling your last at the next target or wherever you find comfortable. Focus on that for a while. Get really, really comfortable with that. I'm not talking like weeks, man. I'm talking like months. Get really, really comfortable with 3. Then we can talk about moving up to higher contract amounts or whatever the hell you want to do, right? So I'll focus on that later. But right now, I think 3 contracts is perfect for you. I can't wait to see what you end up doing with this. But I'm about to show you the level 2 levels, and then we're going to talk about the entry types, which again, I think you're going to be like, oh, damn, you guys do this too. So we talked about the previous day high, previous day low. The most important levels for intraday that can be taken by bulls or bears are previous day open, previous day close, and your current day open. So pretty much all of your open and closes. Now this gives you a lot of extra levels. You don't need to mark these every day, especially when price is already kind of outside of that range or inside of that range. Like I wouldn't mark this day's open going into this day because price is way up here and I already have a level there. There's a level here. So I'm more focused on a break under 130.50 to get me into some puts towards, 127.60. So you could add this as a next target, but you don't need to flood your chart.
Yeah, I usually add so I usually add previous day high low, pre-market high low. And then I'll add the opening print, so like just the current day open.
Current day open. All right, so you already add this.
Yeah, I just don't add. Oh no,
dude, who the hell taught you
literally all that actually. Well, just over time, just looking through like I guess YouTube and then just Discords. I don't know. I've just been combining.
I don't know,
combining stuff like through like different.
I'm not joking. Once you go through my videos, you're gonna be like, dude, have I been watching your channel all along? Because you're literally like saying 40% entries, 80% entries. You're literally talking about supply and demand. Like this is how I teach. Pre-market high, pre-market low. You already know everything I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, I feel, and then like I'll go on the 15-minute. I'll add like the supply demand zones too. Like I've been.
So this is what I was gonna tell you about supply and demand. So for your high and your low of day.
Yeah.
Your high and your low of day. Focus on this. So for going into this day, right? I'm going to be focused on 2 areas, high and low. And you can do this from the 5-minute, the 15-minute. I prefer the 5 or the 1 because you can get smaller areas.
So you do it at like on, so you do it on like a 1 or 5.
Okay. Yeah. For intraday, because all I'm focused on is the previous day high and low. So write this down. This is the most important thing I'm probably going to tell you for supply and demand, which I think will clear up a little bit of your mean reversion confusion.
Yeah, no, I kind of like straying away from that a little.
So this is how you draw demand. Before a reversal to the upside, you need to find the low of that move. The low of that move to the top of the last red candle before that reversal is what we call an area of demand. Let me move it on over to the next day so you can see it. This is what we call demand, and that is the set. Remember when I told you non-moving variable, again, this will never change. This is how you'll always mark it from now on. You're never going to be like, oh shit, do I grab it from here to here? No, it's because you go from the low of the move before the reversal to the top of the last red candle. This creates an area of demand. So this is essentially where we could buy calls off of if it holds a support, or if it breaks under and rejects under, you could take a bearish retest below. You know how that goes.
So you do to the top of the wick or a body?
Bottom of the move before the reversal.
Okay.
To the top of the last red candle, so the wick, not the close or the open, the wick.
Okay.
So
low. You start. Okay, I see what you mean.
To the high, basically.
Okay.
And this gives you an area of demand. So write that down. That is something that you will need forever. That's how you draw demand. You can do this on any time frame: 5, 15, 20 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. This is how you draw demand. This is a set variable way of drawing demands. A reason I made this, and I have a video to link you later, but
Okay. Yep.
a reason I made this and a reason I made this as a rule is because of the exact thing you are discussing right now. When you
Mhm.
said the mean reversion is kind of like this, it's kind of like that some days, it's a little different here and there. You
Yeah,
always get
it's
different levels.
always yeah.
It's not
I
set.
feel like
That's
I'm over
exactly
the
why I made
place.
this.
Yeah.
This gives you set rules for how you draw that from now on. Now you
Mhm.
don't have to second guess. If it doesn't match, then it doesn't match. You don't draw it, right?
Okay.
So for intraday levels, again, the reason I was showing you just this is
Mhm.
because this is really good for going into that next day to trade. So let's go into that next day.
Mhm.
This would have been great to take either a bounce off of, looking for puts underneath. If they would have closed under like they did, and then given us a retest under, you could have definitely been looking for puts, but they didn't. They invalidated, instantly took it back over, got back over the 90 EMA, as well as a bigger time frame level that we just drew together. Really good job. So rising volume, and this is what we call an 80% entry. It's
Okay.
basically here. Let me show you this first. So let's say this is an important level, right? And
Mhm.
you're looking for this to break out. You're looking for it to retest. You want to see it bounce off of. This is how you like to look at things, right?
Yeah. 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 That's
This
like
is how we look
yeah.
at things. This is what we call a 40% entry, just so you know the terms in chat. So when you see people say it, you know what they're
Okay.
talking about.
Mhm.
A 40% entry is when you have price breaking above this important level with rising volume. So picture this down here is like your volume. Whoops. So you have lowering volume and you have rising volume. As rising volume is picking up and this is breaking that level,
Mhm.
this is giving you a 40% entry. 40% stands for 40% out of 100% confidence. You're 40% out of 100% confident that this is definitely going to continue higher. So
Oh, okay.
you're under 50-50. What we call a retest, it's okay to call it a retest. People will understand what you're saying. When you get a retest, you want to have lowering volume as it's returning back to
Yeah.
that point of breakout.
Mhm.
And then you want to get in on that buy with, a stop loss shortly below and then a target at that high of day or wherever that point was that slowed down the first time, right? And this is
Mhm.
what we call an 80% entry, this point right here. 80 out of 100% confidence because you have double the confidence as you did here that it's going to try and continue higher because it
Higher
held the
low.
level that it broke out. Just like, and
Okay.
you're already aware of this, I'm just reiterating it.
Yeah. No. 100%.
And so
Definitely.
that's how a lot of my traders in chat trade 40% and 80% entries. Another thing a lot of my guys go for, let me clean this up real quick.
Yeah, I gotta work on like the volume, like the low volume pullback type. Like, gotta definitely like learn that too. But
Totally
like,
fine.
I feel yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I start adding volume, or it's either I'm I'm over adding stuff, or like I feel like
No,
if I,
no, don't worry about the volume then. Don't worry about it. Just focus on candle closes, the levels.
but at the
That's what
same
we're
time,
about.
it's like
Volume is just extra confirmation outside of you focusing
yeah,
on supply and demand, you focusing on levels of price history,
mm-hmm.
and then using
I guess
price action, candlesticks.
okay, yeah, see, yeah, okay,
Because what did you get here? It's not, even if I didn't use volume, let's take volume off real quick. Pretend it's not even there. What else do I have here? So price broke below the demand, right?
mm-hmm.
But we have an inside bar.
Mm-hmm.
This next candle potentially opened and closed within the same one. That's pretty easy to see, right?
Yeah,
What did the next candle do? Closed outside of it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So we have actually a hair of bullish control even before it got to the 9 EMA, right? And that's bullish confirmation. So even without
Okay, yeah, see,
volume, I can instantly tell that
yeah,
that's bullish control. And that's
yeah,
just basics of candlesticks.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
also helps to know like some
Yeah,
basics
I
of
have
like
to.
patterns.
Yeah, I have to also work on that a little more because I
We'll
was
go over them. We'll go over more of them.
because I had like
Okay.
yeah because I like I had read like the a candlestick book like multiple times actually, but like I stopped
Fuck
using
that.
it
I
because
don't
like
read
someone
books.
told me like you don't need candlesticks back then. It's like you just need like pivots and like obviously like over time like I like you kind of know like the tweezer like I guess tweezer bottoms, tweezer tops, like you kind of see
Hmm.
like reversals like after looking at charts like a lot of the
Candlesticks are
times
very
or like
important.
hammers and yeah, I know, yeah. Like certain like I know like the bait like hammers, wicks and stuff like but like yeah, like dark cloud covers and stuff like those are things like I don't really like look at or like tower tops and bottoms or belt I think it's called like belt hold lines or
Fuck all that. Fuck all that.
yeah,
Forget all
see
that.
like I feel like it's yeah, like there's a lot.
Dark cloud covers though are very important. Piercing
Yeah.
lines, dark cloud covers,
Yeah,
engulfing,
yeah, yeah.
bearish, bullish, morning
Yeah.
stars, evening
Yeah, more
stars,
yeah, those like
tweezer
morning
tops,
stars,
tweezer
evening
bottoms.
stars.
They're very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, those are yeah. That's
But
what I
just
think.
the basics. It's when you get into
Okay,
these
yeah.
like
I
it's
start.
when people start talking about flags and pennants. That's
Yeah,
when people
see,
start to fuck with you
I feel
because
like I start
that is a
doing
moving
too much.
variable.
Okay.
You understand that though, right? You understand flags are moving variables because you have people who
Okay.
teach flags that look like this.
Yeah.
You have people who teach flags that look like this.
Okay.
You have people
I
that
see.
when in reality, none of
Okay.
that shit matters. What
Okay.
matters is that you have a breakout and then your fib. That's why I love that you pulled that fib out. The
Okay.
fib is a non-moving variable.
Okay.
So what happens when I come down here and I hold in between here? I'm still game for a potential bullish play, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's the
Whereas if it
retracement.
closed below it, I'm not so much. It's most likely going to fade back off to either the lows or it's
Yeah.
just going to range straight here for the rest of the day,
Okay.
whatever,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? That is what is a non-moving variable. That is what you should stick to. Fuck the whole
Yeah. Okay.
angled, oh,
Yeah.
it looks
See,
like
I
it's
feel like
angling down.
I
Fuck
start
that.
getting like overwhelmed once I start like
Yeah,
looking at
that's
all that
because
and
it's
the
confusing.
flags
It's
and
not consistent.
yeah, exactly. I feel I'm just
But
inconsistent. I start looking at too many things. I gotta keep it
But
like
you are looking at
simple.
things the correct way, so you
Okay.
can't really beat yourself up. It's not like you're
Yeah.
completely
Okay.
shooting in the fucking wind. You're
Okay.
actually aiming the right way. I'm pretty proud of that.
Okay. Okay.
On your own. I would say you've
Nice.
done very, very, very well.
Yeah.
Fuck the
Hopefully.
money. I'm talking
Hopefully.
about process
Just
wise.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have, you definitely
Yeah.
have. You look at price the right way. I just
Okay.
taught you how we trade in chat, and
Mm-hmm.
you just showed me without even knowing that's how you trade. So
Okay.
you're there.
So
You're just not
yeah.
all
See,
the
I
way
didn't
there.
know where like yeah. See, I didn't know how like where I was currently. So like that's good to
All
know.
right, so you
Definitely.
understand demand, how to draw it. We're
Yeah.
clear
Okay.
on that
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
Before a reversal, we understand you go
From the
from the low to
bottom.
the last
Yeah.
red candle.
Yeah. Okay. So
All right.
does it, okay, so the previous so does the previous candle have to be red or like is there
No,
some?
it doesn't have to be red.
It's
What
just from
matters is
the
that this is
impulsive
where it
like.
reversed from.
Okay.
This is where it
Yeah.
reversed
From
from.
where it
Write that down.
reversed.
That's rule
Okay.
number one.
Okay. So from
This is
where it
where it
reversed.
reversed from. You go from the low of where it reversed from to the top of the last red candle, wherever the hell that is. You could have 10 green candles here. I don't care. Somehow you have green candles there. But wherever it is, find it, add it. But you do that from your low of day. And this is just for intraday trading, your smaller
Yep.
time frame, day
Yeah.
trading, scalping, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
That's like the goal. Yeah.
That's your demand. All right, now let's
Yeah.
talk about supply. Supply is the exact opposite, but not really. So this is why I never tell people it's the exact opposite.
Okay.
So scenario wise, in stream, you'll see me sometimes go from a level, like if I
Mhm.
see this level up here.
Mhm.
And again, I'm focused just like I am when I was on the low of day
Yep.
for demand. I'm focused on the high of day for supply.
Mhm.
So I see that this is the wick. I see that this is the last green candle. That's awesome. But it's a little too big, right? If I was to draw this is
Yeah.
potentially what this area of supply looks like. That's pretty
Mhm.
fucking huge. That's going to be pretty hard to trade around going
Yeah.
into the next day. Let's see what that looks like. Right? That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, was super helpful, but still,
Yeah. That looks.
a little large, kind of confusing to trade around. That I
Yeah.
can agree with, right? So
He's.
a lot of the times I have that. I'll
Mhm.
go from this down to essentially the last body of a red candle or the high of a red candle. So like if I see like the meat of a candle, I'll do
Okay.
it down here. So it's
I
still
see what you
big, but it's
mean.
not as big and it's not
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
obnoxious because
I
you're
see what you
including a
mean.
level of price history and
Yep.
you're including the meat. But normally, and this is just a kind of a unique example because it's AMD. Normally, let's say this was the high of day and this is where it reversed from, right? This is where
Okay.
it broke down, right?
Okay.
Just like when it reversed to go for the upside and you did all your demand, it's the exact same thing. You're going from the high of day, where it reversed from. So we're going to
Mhm.
go from the high to
To the
the
bottom of it.
open, not the low, to the open of the
The
last
previous.
green
Okay.
candle.
Yeah.
Right, so let me extend this over. There we go. And that's what that'll look like. Again, the high to the open of the last green candle from where it reversed from. Again, if you see a bunch of red tanking down, awesome. Go back to the top of that, add that supply. In
Okay.
the future, it might be super helpful.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
that's what you end up doing.
Works.
So let's see what that looked like on today's price action. And which, again, that's not how I would have drawn it today. That's why I
Mhm.
showed you the other example. But
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the traditional style of drawing your supply and demand. So going
Yeah.
into tomorrow, let's draw it.
Mhm.
How am I going to draw it? Let's go from where's high of day? It's way up here. We don't have a green candle to go
Yes.
from.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what's
Yeah. So
another
how?
pivot point that I can go down to from the high of day?
Like the pre. Would you use pre-market?
No, no, no. A pivot
Oh.
point. What's a
Oh. From. Okay. So, would you
what
go
was
from like
what,
the
what was one of
high?
those? What
Like
was one
literally
of
from the
those
high
level
in
two
pre-market.
levels?
13374.
You could. I was gonna say you could go to the open, one of those
Okay.
pivot points I was telling you about.
Yeah.
That's a good
Okay.
one.
So
But
that.
like you said, you could go from that bigger time frame level down to that open. That'd be more
Mhm.
important, and you could do
The
that.
thing. So what I've heard is like you wanted like I don't know, what I've looked at is like you go from like the top of the you start from the top of the impulsive move, or
Mm-hmm.
like the top, so like the high, and then like
Mm-hmm.
where it starts dropping.
I don't count pre-market though,
So
because
you
pre-market is
always
where
start
there's
from
not enough
intraday.
volume.
Okay, so you always start from the actual previous
For,
day, like
from
open.
when I do this, yes.
Okay.
If you're gonna do supply and demand for intraday, do not include pre-market.
Okay.
Pre-market is
All right.
great to include the pre-market high, like, hey, the pre-market high is here at 133.74. Please mark that because that is a stupid important level. But it's not important enough for me to mark it as supply and demand. There's not supply and demand here. There's not enough volume in pre-market to be counted as supply and demand.
Okay.
This
I
is
see.
basically weight, is what you're seeing. Money,
Okay.
a lot of it.
So that small wick would count as supply, like you marked for intraday.
For this example, I
Yeah.
was just
Okay.
showing you would do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Okay.
because it's kind of awkward. It doesn't have
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
move and then it sells off. It was already selling off
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
supply. So let's do it from here. Let's do it from here just to make it a little easier. So using this example here, where is my supply? Where is my demand?
Okay. So you start from the top of the wick to the. Would you go from the green candle, the previous body?
Yep, the open of it.
Yeah. Right there. Yeah.
The open.
Like
All right, let
that.
me extend it over. Extend it over to tomorrow.
Now, question.
And then where's my demand? Oh wait,
Um.
my bad. What?
Now I was wondering also. Um. So he's from the top of that red candle to the say like the bottom of like the candles down to your right. Would you do something like that ever? So yeah, you see how there's like a shelf level like that, like a resistance level to the right, like that's like
Oh, right
yeah
here.
those
Yeah, I
yeah.
see
So
what you're
would you
saying.
grab it from like that wick ever to go down to there?
No,
Okay, so you always do it how you do. Okay, so I
I
see what
always
you
do it
mean.
how I do it
Okay,
because it's a
yeah.
set
So it's
standard rule.
consistent. Yeah.
Remember,
Okay, I see what
if
you
we
mean.
change it, it's
Yep.
not consistent.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
All right, and you'll get into this more
Yeah.
as you
Yeah.
start to
Yeah.
watch more content and I start to talk with you more. But on breakdowns, just so you know, and I'm really happy you noticed. It's like,
Hmm.
see what I'm saying, man? You have an eye for
Okay,
this
just
shit. You're
making
not dumb.
sure.
You
Yeah.
have a really good
Okay.
eye for this shit. But look at this. So you see this breakdown, and this is where price kind of short-term caught support and then kind of just ran shredded before it broke down.
Hmm.
There's a really awesome, seriously easy method to finding this. So you see,
Hmm.
this is where price was the high, and this is kind of where price made the low of its move.
Yeah, it held that
See how price stayed
50%.
under the control
Yeah, I
point
remember
and the
you
golden
watching
pocket?
one of your videos. Yeah, it
Exactly.
held
This
that
is what we
area.
call the lead test. This is the lead test.
Okay.
This is what
Okay.
we call the lead test. And this
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
why everybody gets so horny whenever these pop up because they're so
Okay.
easy to trade. They're
Yeah.
so
See,
easy
I
to
wasn't
trade.
like I kind of knew, but I don't really know too much about the lead
No,
test.
it's
But
okay.
yeah, I
But
see
you
what
already
you
use
mean now.
fib, so
Okay.
that's very easy for
Yeah.
you to
See, I
see.
never know. Yeah, I wonder like if I use the lead test sometimes, and I
I'm
probably
telling you,
do.
man, if you take time to like stop
Yeah.
looking at all the other
I
information
gotta.
you're
Yeah,
looking
I
at,
need like static,
videos,
like you're doing. Yeah. Yeah. I
I
see what
genuinely
you mean.
believe you'll have a huge light bulb moment because
Okay.
you already look at everything the way we do. I think
Yeah.
you just need a
Okay.
little bit of refining and just maybe
Yeah.
hearing it a different way. Sometimes it's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
reiteration,
Yeah.
Blink. You know, sometimes just hearing it a different way. It's like, oh
True.
shit, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, because I
It's
look at
not you're not dumb. It
things
has
so
nothing to do
many
with
different
smart.
ways. Yeah.
You
Okay.
have really good intuition
All
too,
right.
dude. You have really good intuition.
All right. That's good to know then, because frick, hopefully I was doing something right all these
No, dude,
years,
you are,
so
and I
that's
love
good.
that you have a server too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I
that you're
try to
just posting
track
in for
everything.
yourself.
Yeah.
That's good. Most people do not do that, Blink. That's
Yeah.
what's going to keep you different from the rest of them.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So
So this one I
Okay. So
didn't
you
do
just use
the
the wicks because they're just a longer, or like they're
just
longer
because it's
wicks. It's a
longer. There you
bigger.
go.
Yeah. You want it like
When
a short.
traditionally this would be correct, but
Yeah.
that's not going
That's
to be
way too
fucking
big.
possible to
Yeah. Yeah.
trade
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, so we're
Yeah.
going to go from a historical level
Okay.
that
Yeah.
price
It makes
didn't
sense.
break
Yep. Yep.
to
Yep.
the meat of where everything was
Yep.
stuck.
Okay.
All right, cool. So you get that.
Yep.
All right. Well,
I was
I am.
also one more thing.
Hmm.
Uh, Actually, no, that was okay. No, no, no. That's yeah. I see what you. Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah,
All I did was just extend it
yeah,
over. I
yeah. I
draw it
see how you
here,
did like
like
the top. Yeah, when you made it too big. Yeah, so it was the low of like the green candle at the top of the wick. Yeah, the candle before the reversal. But like, yeah, that candle is huge. The red one. So it
yeah,
wouldn't
huge as
work.
hell,
Okay, yeah.
which
So
would be
that wouldn't
impossible for
work.
us to
Yeah.
troll. Yeah, which in reality, if you really wanted to be anal about it, you could just go to this one because this
Yeah.
is kind of where it went last. But I really like to include
Yeah.
historical
No,
levels
yeah.
because
This
they're
like
just as important as any other
yeah.
level.
So like I'll literally just use like I'll go on the 15 minute and use the wicks, but like I'm gonna start
That's
doing it
great.
how you're doing it though. I feel like I need to build it like a
Do it on
consistently.
the 5. That's
Okay,
totally
the
fine. I
5.
mean,
Okay.
yeah, the
Yeah.
5. Do the 5. I think
And you
you'll
said
enjoy
you
it.
use the 1 too, right? But I'll just
This
do it off the 5 though.
it's really
I feel
personal
like it'll be
preference.
easier to find on the 5.
Yeah, the 5 is
Because you
consistent,
have
but
like
for trading
wicks.
itself,
Okay.
you can do whatever time frame you
Yeah,
want.
yeah,
Like if you're a scalper, do whatever time frame you want. You seem to be comfortable on the 2, so I'm sure you'd be able
yeah.
to dominate whatever time frame.
Okay. I'll just do the 5 though. Yeah, I'll just draw these zones off the
But
5.
you understand how we get the levels. You
Yep.
understand the supply and demand now.
Yep. You do.
This is the infrastructure of your chart. This is like the basics. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is something you should know at the back of your hand. Like
Yep. Yep.
this needs to be on every chart at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say the next day is over. What are you gonna do? You need to clear this. You need to clear this. You need to move
Just
on to
go
the
to the
next day.
next day.
Add
Yeah.
that. Clean it
Okay.
up. That's the only maintenance you do in between those days is cleaning up your previous day's pre-market levels, the previous day levels. You know, deleting all
Mm-hmm.
that. The
So
only
you
levels
never
you don't
go
delete
farther
are the bigger
back.
time frame levels. No,
You just use the previous day. Okay.
just the
That's
previous
good.
day.
Okay.
Now there are
That's good.
some cases. This is actually a great example. You see how this day kind of just did nothing. It just kind of stayed here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This could have been left going into tomorrow just because
It's like a
these are
middle.
still good levels.
Yeah.
So let's say today range traded and it stayed above this level here.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could keep this level here, but it did break it. So you know you have a new low of day. It did break it. So clearly that's
I
not
feel like
significant
I feel like yeah, how you're doing it though is good because like once I start adding
because
too
you're
many
cleaning
like
it.
supply demand zones, it's like okay now we're like literally like
It's
we're
overwhelming.
yeah it's overwhelming. It's like okay we just exited like a supply zone. Oh now we're heading into a demand zone. Literally
Hmm.
like
If I
a
was a
couple
computer,
dollars down. It's like
maybe
it's just yeah
that's
that's
too
what I
much,
mean. Yeah it is too much. Yeah so I like how you're doing it. Just like you don't have
and it's
you literally
consistent.
have just like couple demand zones and like your levels are like good. You don't
Simple
have
as
like
best.
yeah, because I start adding in like yeah, like I did like daily levels like sometimes like differently, but then like I started doing like intraday levels and stuff, and like I don't know, and then I started using like
So this is
trend
the whole.
lines and like some, and then I wouldn't use like EMAs and like I'd only have VWAP, and then like yeah,
You're
and
good.
then I would just use nothing at all and just try to read like just pivots and stuff with like like the fibs and like the break and retest, which was actually pretty good too. But yeah, I've been all over the place.
No, that's good.
Just gotta
I think
stick to one thing,
just
honestly.
focus on what we're talking about right now, and you'll
Yeah,
be good.
yeah, yep,
But
I
so
will.
now let's talk about the types of entries.
Yep.
So I showed you the 40%. I showed you the 80%. You're pretty much already aware of those because you literally just showed me your trade beforehand, and you
Hmm.
literally just showed me a retest
Yeah.
trade. So that's
Sometimes
beautiful.
though, I don't know where to draw the fib. Like I'll draw from the previous pivot, but then sometimes, like if we're pretty overextended, like
All
I'll
right, we'll
draw
go over
from
that.
the
We'll go over that.
open
We'll go over that.
to the low. Yeah, like from the high to the low, and then you get that like middle point. Like right there, I see like
Hmm.
there's like a 50% from the like high to the low. It looks
Hmm.
like on that day,
That's good.
and then like, but like it's like I can't. Sometimes I can't trust it. Like so, like yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna go over that. We're
Yeah,
gonna go over that. I'm gonna give you
it
consistent rules.
depends.
You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about this shit
Okay.
anymore. We're gonna
Okay.
give you consistent rules. So here we
Okay.
go. So one more thing before we get into the entry types too.
Mm-hmm.
A really awesome thing about these levels and these zones and the consistency behind the bigger time frame levels. Again, not even counting your intraday stuff yet.
Okay.
The awesome thing about these levels is it doesn't really matter where price starts. Price could start there. I'm gonna have a game plan. If price starts in between here, I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking above 127.63 towards supply. I'm looking under 125.20 towards demand.
Mm-hmm.
If I break demand, I can look for further. If I break supply, I can look for further.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And vice versa. If I start up here, doesn't matter. If I start up here, I'm looking for a hold or for a continuation.
And you
Vice
want like a
versa.
hold on those levels, right? Like a break and retest or a
Exactly, a
break and
break and
hold.
retest. That's
Yeah.
everything you're looking for.
Yeah.
That is the essential key behind validating and fake outs that you might be seeing. So
Mm-hmm.
let's go over these entry types. So, but that's one of my favorite things about these
Okay.
levels is the consistency behind that. Is no matter what news hits me, no matter what messes up
Okay.
this chart pre-market,
Mm.
I'm going to be set to go thanks to the bigger time frame levels. But let's
Yeah.
talk about the
Okay.
entry type. So we talked about the 40% entry.
Yep.
Where you get rising volume and a rising volume 5-minute close, 1-minute close, whatever time frame you're looking at, that's what you're basing it off of. So if I'm on the
Mm-hmm.
1 minute looking for scalps and I'm looking for a 40% entry, I'm looking for a single 1-minute candle close over this, and then I'm in. You know, keep a
Yeah.
stop
Okay.
loss
All right.
relatively just under 130.50 or at the bottom of this zone here, which
Mm-hmm.
you want to keep it relatively closer, but
Yeah. I
we'll
see.
see.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
see, that's 40% entry.
Mm-hmm.
80% entry. This is when volume is dropping. Volume gets boring necessarily. Maybe not a perfect drop. You know, sometimes it'll be a little, you know, inconsistent. Sometimes you get a drop, a rise, a drop, a drop. But over the course of this move to the downside, though, you do want to see volume dropping. So that's
Mm-hmm.
good that you see that, even
Yep.
if there's
I
a
do.
couple
Yeah.
pops here and there. All right.
Okay.
So You have the 40%, you have the 80%, and again, this is your retest trade. You're very familiar with
Yeah,
this.
that's the one I
Now,
took basically, I think, right?
yeah,
In a
that's
way,
what you
yeah.
took today, the
Yep.
80% entry, the
Mhm.
retest. This is one of the strongest ways to trade. That's why I was impressed when you were showing me that. I was like, damn, okay, he knows his shit. He's trading from supply and demand, and he knows what a retest trade is. Clearly,
Yeah.
Blink has
Okay.
done some homework, so I can see you know your shit. You're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
totally a
I'm
loss.
trying. I'm
You're
trying.
not totally a guppy. You're not totally
Yeah,
green. You do know
I'm
your
trying.
shit. I
Yeah.
just think you need to hear it the right way,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it'll be
That's
perfect.
yeah.
You're in the right spot though, dude. I'm very impressed where you're at
That's good then.
and where you're at.
It's good
That's
to
good.
know though. Okay.
And your trade log, honestly, that's another impressive thing too. That's something you can
Yeah.
go back on. And you were able to tell me in what part of your trade log what strategies you were using. I couldn't go to 90% of people in my chat right now and have them tell me things like that. Like that's something that like only people who actually care about growing do. So
Yeah,
that's really
I'm
good that you do
trying.
that.
Yeah. That's good to
All right,
know
so we
then.
got the
Okay.
40%, we got the 80%. You understand those?
Hmm.
All right, so let me delete these lines. I know I'm an amazing artist. All right, so let's talk about the buy the dip entry, and then I'm going to jump into the lead test, which again is my personal favorite. But this
Okay.
is the opposite of the lead test. Again, this is kind of where
Okay.
I'm not going to say where Leland got it from, but this
Okay.
is definitely some motivation for where we get a lot of our successful trading
Okay.
strategy entries from. So the buy the dip entry, though, just essentially is when you get a drop in price. So you want to see a drop in price. You want to see it pull back. You know, whatever the cause is, news, price action, bigger time frame. It's been rallying too long. It doesn't matter what it is. Price has been dropping consistently back down, right? And whether
Hmm.
it's at demand or at a bigger time frame level, or it just stops randomly, it really doesn't even matter. If you find it at demand or at a bigger time frame level, that's best. But if you find it randomly stop, awesome. There's still going to be a way to find out why is it random.
Okay.
So let's say price drops from 130.50s all the way to 124, and then it just slows down, right? You get that initial pop. You know, that's pretty normal. It's called a buyer reaction. Very
Hmm.
normal.
Like.
Now, whether this is short slowing down to take it further
Yep.
or buyers to take it back up, we have no idea at this point, right? Let's be real
Hmm.
with ourselves. We have
Yeah. See,
no,
that's yeah. Like I
right?
sometimes. Yeah. Okay, that makes
All right.
sense.
So
Yeah.
let's see this now. Now this is where it's going to click. Now, what can happen from this point to show buyers have control? A continued hold of this, whether it's a double bottom or a higher low. It's not always going to
Yeah.
be
Okay.
perfect.
Hmm.
Sometimes, and what I mean by that is an actual candle body. You see how this one had a candle body under?
Yeah.
That
Sometimes
is
I get
not a higher
confused with
low,
the wicks and the
right?
bodies. Okay. Okay.
Ignore the wicks. The body or the meat of the bone. That is where the
So.
strength and the
Okay.
power of that
So
candle are.
ignore the
But the
wicks for
wicks,
the higher low and stuff, right?
I
Okay.
wouldn't ignore them in terms
So,
of
so
that.
that
Now, in terms of that, yes, the higher low and that
so does
stuff. But
that so that's just a
wicks are
lower
still
low.
important.
Or, like, is that a lower
Exactly,
low
that's a lower
technically
low.
then?
A
Okay.
lower low close wise is how you would
Yeah,
call that.
body.
Close
Okay.
wise, that's a lower low, which is stronger than just a
Okay.
wick.
So
Because a
that's
wick just showed it and then they pulled it back up.
okay. Okay, I'll keep that in mind
Whereas a
then.
body
Because I
actually
always
closed
got
before.
confused. I never knew like
Nah, meat
I'd
of the bone
always
close,
mess my
stronger.
pivots up sometimes. Okay.
No, you're good.
Meat of
All right, so let's talk about the dip. So they end up making a higher low, which again, it's not always going to be perfect. You know, you're going to have sometimes a couple candles do it. Sometimes you're going to have 5 candles do it. Sometimes this entire process takes 3 hours, 6 hours, a couple
mm-hmm,
days. You never know, right?
mm-hmm,
So what you're looking for though is an established low,
mm-hmm,
an impulse move to the upside.
mm-hmm,
You want to see a return back to show that, hey, we're still in control of this low, whether they come back down here and whip below it and then close back above it,
mm-hmm,
or they show a higher low. No matter what variation you get, you want to show that they have control of that low still, right?
mm-hmm,
This is the move that you want to start to buy off of for your buy the dip entry.
mm-hmm.
Now, a passive thing to look for is to wait until it's over that first impulse move
I think
and then,
Leland took it today. Actually, I looked on.
yep,
Yeah, he took a pullback after that. Literally where you marked, he took it back. Like it was like the fair value gap area.
yep,
And he took it when it like retraced back, like you draw it down again, and then he took it. And he
nice.
took it long, so like I saw that, and I wrote that in my like Discord, just like so I could
Oh,
look at it
nice.
more.
But that's what this is, the
But
buy
yeah.
the dip entry. This
Oh,
is
so
this is what I
you're
call.
buying it right there though on the circle.
Yeah, yeah. You can buy it
So is that like
here.
a
It's just
breakout
considered
or
riskier because you don't know that it's going to hold. You can set a stop down here if you buy earlier than that. This is
okay?
the passive version of this, buying as it's breaking above this.
Okay, so that's like a breakout type entry, right?
It's a breakout, but it's after a retest.
Okay,
Therefore,
I see what you
it's a
mean.
little bit more than a 40%, but it's a little bit less than your 80%.
Okay, so that's
It's a
kind of
little
like
bit
the
of a
flag thing that I was looking at too, but it's like
exactly.
you said, yeah, like it's kind of
All
inconsistent
right, so
sometimes. But yeah.
So, and a big thing, a lot of the time, opening price is a pretty famous spot this happens from. But a lot of the time, you have like opening price, and then it dips, and then it makes that. You see how it didn't really do that by the dip entry here? It just kind of had a single reversal, and that
Yeah.
was it. That didn't
Yep.
really have it today, right? So
Okay. Yep.
when it does happen, though, a lot of the time you can aim for that today's open. That today's open is a lot of the time a really good
Okay.
farther out target. So right here would have been like your first target, or this would have been your first target. Sorry, 127.63. Selling some.
Okay. Yep.
Second target, selling some. Last target, selling some. So just for futuristic
Okay.
thinking,
And then also
thinking
like
that's
on the left there, like those are thin candles. So from like 130 to 134, doesn't that mean it can move quicker up? Or like
130 to
well, like
134.
you see how like it dips very hard, and then
Mm-hmm.
like those are thin candles, like unfilled orders, I think it's called. Like so, I know, like I don't know, I heard something about like if it like if it pushes down like very hard with just like red
Mm-hmm.
candles consistently, it could push up. Like there's no like
It could
resistance there,
push
so it
up
could push
very
up just as
easily.
quick. Yeah.
Yes, that is
So
correct. You are
that's
correct.
okay.
That
Just
is
making
called
sure.
That's called a volume shelf. That's where
Okay.
there's a
Okay.
missing
Okay.
piece of volume here. If I was to go turn on volume shelves right now, there'd be a lot of volume sitting here.
Okay.
There'd
Yeah,
be a
I've
lot of
used
volume
the
sitting here,
VP.
but there would not be a lot of volume. The volume profile. You've used that.
Yeah,
That's exactly
dude,
what I'm talking
I've
about.
used
Okay.
everything. Yeah.
All right. That's exactly what I'm talking
I'm
about. That's
just
price action.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
not even an indicator. That's
There's
price
like
action. But
volume
that
desert
today's
and
open
yeah.
is a lot of the time so if a base build was to happen here, which it didn't,
Okay.
that would be a really good kind of primary target. But
Yep.
don't ignore some of your closer targets. It's never bad to take profits early. Who's going to complain about a little green? Am I right?
Yeah. No. 100%. Yeah. That's like the
All right.
goal.
So
Yeah.
let's go back to this. So you understand the buy the dip entry. You understand, and this again only happens
Yep.
after dips. So remember. So now you have a trading strat for breakouts,
Mm-hmm.
retest, and if the stock dips a bunch and then starts to consolidate as support, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have three strats for three completely
You
different
know what
uses.
messes with me sometimes
Hmm.
when like the trend is down,
Hmm.
and even though like the lower time frame makes like a higher low, I
Hmm.
still sometimes like because we're under the EMAs sometimes. I guess
What you need to do is be consistent. You need to remember we talked about removing those EMAs. So that's one thing that's
yeah.
going to change moving forward. Two,
Mm-hmm.
sticking to a certain time frame. So
Mm-hmm.
what
And
I
then
like
yeah, like
just
even
for
like if I go to the 5 minute, like we're making macro lower highs or something, right? But the
Mhm.
1 minute or 2 minute is making micro higher lows. It's like I get sometimes get confused. Like wait,
If you
like
get confused, just don't touch it. That's a really good
okay,
rule. I'm
yeah,
gonna tell
yeah,
you right now. If you ever get confused and it's just kind of messing with you,
yeah,
just reach
yeah.
out. Don't touch shit. You
Okay,
know that's a
yeah,
really good rule. And then we
true.
can establish, and then you can start
Yeah,
to
I
kind
think
of
over time, yeah, I just gotta like
it's
learn
exactly
that.
it's an over
I think
time
it's
kind
an
of thing.
yeah,
You don't want
exactly.
to you don't want to rush
It's
this
gonna
shit. And
yeah, exactly.
it's
Okay.
like it's like tarring a road. You're not gonna do it really fast and then it's gonna be all messed up. You're gonna have to do it really, really slow. So the
Mm-hmm,
road is
mm-hmm.
really, really smooth, sexy. When your car rides on it, it's really,
Yeah,
really smooth. It feels really good.
yeah, yeah.
That's kind of what you're doing right now. That's the process you're at. Is
Mm-hmm,
you have a
mm-hmm.
foundation. Now it's just about going over it repeatedly, very slowly.
Yeah.
Again, over and over and over and over and over. You're gonna get a little kind of. You might even get bored of your routine. Good.
Mm-hmm,
You should get bored of your
mm-hmm,
routine because that is how comfortable you should get with it.
mm-hmm.
Because
Okay.
then, as you see these opportunities pop up in real time, you're not going to be sitting there going, "Hey, Bueller, is this that?" or "Hey, Leland, you're going to be in that trade. You're not even going to be second guessing anything.
Yeah.
You're going to
See,
be in
that's
that
me.
trade with the game plan
Yeah.
on the fly, and you're going to be hitting it. And whether it's a win or a loss, it does not matter. Afterwards, you're going to review, and
Yeah.
that's your routine: preparing, planning, playing it, and then reviewing it right afterwards. And that right there is everything you're going to need moving forward. Every single day, every single time you take a trade, do that. Mental trade, real trade, it does not matter. I take mental trades just as I do real trades. They are just as important.
Okay.
And I saw you that you did that too. That's another
Yeah,
beautiful
I
thing.
try to
Paper
add
trading is
mental
a little
trades.
ineffective.
Yeah, yeah,
Mental
yeah.
trading is very effective. So
Okay.
I'm very happy to see you
Yep,
do
yep,
that.
yep. Okay.
All right, so we got levels, we got supply demand, we got candles, we got um, the 40% entry, the 80% entry, the buy the dip entry, which again, I have playlists and all this.
Yep.
If you
I
go to
gotta
my
watch.
YouTube,
I gotta start
there's
watching your
playlists and all this.
videos
But
because
I'm giving you the
I've
names
watched
of
a
this
few
stuff
of
so you
them. Yep.
understand when they pop up in the videos, you understand, what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah. See, I
Because
needed
I
you like to tell me like I needed like because like I needed you to tell me I needed like a set like process because I was
Mhm.
doing
No, let's do
like
that. It's a routine. Think of it, man. A routine is going to give you
yeah
everything you need.
because I was
So right
doing
now we're
stuff
building.
so randomly and like it would work like yeah like I'm doing like it would work but like it's like a lot of the times like you're less confident because it's like it's always different in a way, you know. So
When
like,
it's a
it's
moving
good.
variable, man, when it's
Yeah.
inconsistent like that, it
Yeah.
fucks with you,
Yeah.
man,
Exactly, man.
and then you get emotionally distraught. And you're like, shit, what do I even do here? Do I
Yeah.
even touch it? Do
Exactly.
I exit? Do I enter? What am I
Exactly.
doing?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So
It's
like,
not even you. It's just because there's nothing consistent, you know?
yeah. Yep. 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 Exactly. So yeah, I definitely appreciate the help
All
here.
right, so let's go over the opposite of that, the lead test. You keep hearing the lead
Yep.
test. I want to go over that with you just for a few moments. I don't want to go over. I probably shouldn't be going over all of this with you, but I'm trying to give you
No,
like
this is good
a
because I'm
small
gonna
entrance
watch
into each
more of
one.
your videos now. Yeah. Yeah.
And I wasn't gonna go this far with you, but then I had you break down stuff before I started talking to you about stuff, and you kind of
Mm-hmm.
showed me a lot. You showed me that you are in the right direction, so it's like, okay,
Yep.
shit, I can show this guy a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of jump ahead a little faster with you than
Yep.
I
Yep.
can
Yep.
other people, which is
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yep.
So
Yep. That's
let's
good.
talk about the lead test. So I
Yep.
showed you 40%. We talked about the retest of 40% entries. Again, you can take those to the upside. You can take those to the downside. You can do those either direction,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
The buy the dip, that's only for going up after we get some down and they consolidate. They show that they can continue holding that consolidation and they build back up. The opposite of this is called the lead test. This is when you have an impulse move up, a really nice bullish move up. Let's say they hit this supply and they slow down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say here, let me draw that a little better. Let's say they slow down and they stop right here. Who the hell knows why, right? Who cares?
Yep.
Draw a fib, right? So let's go from the high of that move.
I
Well, let me.
remember hearing about drawing the fib from the high of the move to the close of the under the 90 in May. I remember watching one video. I
I'll have
don't know if
to
that's a thing.
re-explain that then.
Okay.
So a really good, just kind of, I have a couple rules that kind of help different entry people. You don't. That's why I didn't even bother telling you because you don't need to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Entry level people really need to hear. Well, if it breaks the 90 man, the 10 minute, then you can start to look for a pullback, and
Yeah, I
once it
remember
starts to
you
get popped
telling
back up,
actually
then you can look
watching a
for
video.
retest. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't need to hear that. You're
Okay.
past
Okay.
that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You're above that. So
Okay.
you see an impulse move, you see a slowdown, regardless of it breaking an EMA or not. Who cares? It
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
an
Okay.
impulse move to the downside
Okay.
afterwards, right?
Yep. Yep.
We're gonna draw a fib from there,
Yep.
from the high of the move to where it slowed down, right? So let's
Mm-hmm.
say this is where it reverses from, right? That's where we're gonna draw the bottom of that
Yep.
fib, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what we're looking for, let me zoom in a little more. What we're looking for after that rally, after the slowdown, and then we mark this after it bounces. Again, you're only marking this, the
Mm-hmm.
bottom of this fib, after it bounces. You don't know
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it
Yeah. Like
stopped, and that was just
the
so I could
wick,
show you.
right? Before it
Yes.
like after it
Yes, the
retraces.
wick,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
bottom of everything. Don't
Yep.
do the
Yep. Yep.
body on this. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Yeah. No.
everything.
Yeah.
Include everything.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So on this lead test, what you're looking for is the opposite of really the buy the dip. You're looking for them to go up, and sometimes, and this is where the variations come into effect.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get one test of the 50% and they dump it right back to here, and that was the whole trade opportunity.
Okay.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's what you
See. Yeah.
right.
Okay. Yep.
These, it's okay to miss those. Don't be
Okay.
mad
See,
about
that's what
that.
that.
That is
Okay,
okay.
that's I usually get like kind of like frustrated because like, did I like miss it? Like, or was I
Didn't fuck
reading it
up.
wrong, or did I have yeah?
Nope.
Like, did I screw up?
It's just one of the variations that weren't favorable.
Okay. All right.
Now,
Just making
sometimes when
sure.
you get a lot more confident, you'll start finding yourself jumping in early on some of those trades, and
Yeah.
sometimes you'll find yourself catching a stop loss very early on that. So avoid doing that because
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
can be very
Yeah. Yeah.
inconsistent
Yeah.
at the beginning, especially. So let's say you get a breakaway from it, whatever, what happens, and then they make a lower high. This is what you want to look for. This is what
Okay.
you're looking for. This is where you can set your stop slightly above the 50% or even at the golden pocket if you want.
Okay.
And this is where you're taking your entry for this to dump. You want it to
Mm-hmm.
go down to this right here. This is your main target. Now, right here, and I know you're going to have no problem with this, this is a great spot if you want to scale out an initial part of your position, a light amount of it, a middle, a medium part of your
Okay.
position. Sell some of it right here if you need to, though.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Most of it, though, you want to make it down to this target, but you have to also understand that not every time is it going to dump straight to that. What do we sometimes experience instead of a double bottom? And we just went over this. What does it
A
sometimes
higher
do?
low.
A higher low, exactly. So you want to sometimes aim for towards that area. You don't want to aim
Yeah. Okay.
for directly 128.67 to the dot. You want to aim before that. You
Yeah,
want
I
to sell
noticed that. I usually
starting
try to
before that.
sell stuff a little bit, like a little early
Early?
sometimes, but
Okay,
I don't
good,
know if
good.
that's like a bad like habit.
No. That is
Okay.
perfect. Selling early is perfect. Don't
Okay.
ever let anybody
Because
tell
I
you
try not to
otherwise.
like. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
Why I tell you that selling early is perfect when you are heading towards a target because you have to understand what options are. Options are momentum based, time decay based. So
Yeah.
as basically the more money, the faster it moves to your target after you entered, the more money you make, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the slower, the less you're going to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it goes
Yeah. Yeah.
straight to to 128.67 and you sell early, you're not really selling early. You're selling at the peak of momentum.
Yeah.
This is where the peak of momentum is at, and where your contract might see the highest it can go before reversing again. So that's why when I say selling early is perfect, that's what I mean by it.
Okay. Yeah.
You'll notice in some of your trading logs, if you're selling early, like if you're selling when it's coming down before it even gets to this, like that, you're selling early. You're not even giving yourself a chance. But
Okay.
if you're pushing through this and it's you're getting a chance, and then you get to here and you can still sell before that. But that's the main look of the lead test though, is you're looking for the rally,
Yep.
the pullback,
Yep.
the bounce to show, hey, bulls are not in control. They can't even. But this is essentially how you tell if something is bullish or bearish though. If it can get over this, then it's potentially telling us bulls are still in control, and they're at least going to go test this 100% spot that they rejected earlier. Maybe go make a new high of day for all we know, right?
Okay. Yep.
But that's the lead test, though. That's essentially what you're looking for. You want to look for that lower high. Now, let's look at some other variations of this, because they're not always going to be perfect.
Yeah. See, okay, because I've marked fibs like in like different areas.
I saw that you did. You marked fibs very similar to this.
Okay. Okay.
You're not far off this, man. When you drew your fib earlier, when you took that retest up, that's exactly how you should have drawn that fib. You went from where you broke out to the high of that move, and then you saw it come back down and hold that move. That's beautiful. You're thinking about price action the correct way, so you're doing great.
Okay.
All right, so let's say it goes up and it breaks the 50%. What is the golden pocket? Can we treat that the same as this?
Yep. Yep.
Yes, it's exactly the same exact level. They're the exact same thing when it comes in terms of the lead test or the buy the dip opportunities. This is what you're looking out for.
Yeah.
But that's the lead
This
test,
is
though.
like
That's what you're looking out
this
for.
is
So
like
whenever
the-
you miss these quick moves, don't
Yeah.
get mad.
Okay.
What you want to do
Yeah,
is
just making
what
sure.
you need to think of your entries are like. You need to think of them as like royalty, dude. Like every time you take a trade, it's a very important part of your trading process, right? So you don't want to just take any random shitty ass trade, right? You're not gonna waste your time with that, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna take trades that are golden, that you know or that work, and that you've put work in, so you have confidence behind it, right? So you're not gonna get totally worried about missing that. What you're gonna be more focused on is limiting yourself, right? Honestly, write that down. Limiting yourself.
Yep.
That is gonna be an amazing thing for you. Then you can look for that lower high, and in some amazing cases, you get a perfect retest of the 50%, and that's gonna be your entry.
Okay.
You gotta be. Sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it's not. And when it's not perfect, don't risk as much and don't expect as much.
Yep. Okay.
That's how you should think about it. Not every time is it going to give you the perfect opportunity. But that's the main, all of the main types of entries in chat. Those are the main.
When it went up to the 50%, do you usually take those? Like so say like like there's like sellers, I guess, stepping in. Like
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Pocket, or do you wait for that lower high?
If I see a push into this,
yeah.
and this is where candlestick recognition is going to help you out a lot. If I see a push into this, and I see now, I know this is huge. If I see an inverted hammer against the halfway point, I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm probably not waiting for the golden pocket because I've already seen that it tested it and failed it. So that's all the information I needed. Okay. Now, in the beginning, though, you need to be passive. Taking the lower high is everything. Candles. You don't need to be taking the first test. You need to be taking the push and then wait for that lower high to establish itself, and then you can get in. That is what you focus on. Now, if it doesn't pop up, let it go. Mental trade it, man. If it ends up testing it once, mental trade it. That's not going to hurt you, and you're going to learn a lot from it.
Okay. Yep. All right.
So focus on that. So now you have setups for if you see a breakup that gets broken down. You have a setup for if it gets broken down and is trying to consolidate and break back up. And you already know open range breakouts and retest, break and retest. You understand those. So now you have everything you need, basically. I mean, you basically have everything you need. Now you just need to practice and go through it every day and treat it as a routine every day. This is what you need to stick through. Every single day, Blink. Every single day that you're going to apply yourself to the markets, you need to be going back through, deleting those previous day levels that you drew. Keep the bigger time frame levels. Those are there forever. If you want to delete them and re-practice them, be my guest.
I'm gonna start. I gotta look at your daily video again and start marking it from the bodies and start like doing that. Like how you've been doing. I just gotta change it up, I think.
And we can go through some we can go through some other examples too. But I want to give you like a list of stuff.
Yeah. No, you've already helped a ton, so appreciate that.
Well, I'm messaging someone. I wanted to link you something.
Okay.
All right, sorry. So be honest with me, man. Don't just say yeah. So it sounds like you completed it. Like, do you feel like you understand the at least basics of this, like the structure of it, what we're trying to go for here? And I understand right now you're going to be a little shaky, but over time you're definitely not going to be as we do this morning. And the routine, do you understand what I'm asking of you when I say the routine? You know, drawing the levels, cleaning up your levels, keeping the charts maintenance, and then also reapplying these supply and demand levels each and every day.
Uh, like yes, in a way.
What
Like
what would you say you need a little bit more? I don't know, patting down on, I guess.
hmm.
What is
Like
something
I
that you
well,
that
like
you're
I
super
still
confident in, and what is something you're not?
like I still got to learn the daily levels, right? I'd say the supply demand is like
Which
easy. What
those are
you
pretty easy.
Yeah, I just got to learn that after. Like I got to watch that
These are
video.
pretty
That's
easy.
about it. Yeah, and then yeah,
I mean, I can show you right now just for a quick basic. I just drew these all right in front of you.
no, yeah, I
Um,
know I've watched that video. I see like you do from the body, right?
but
The
that's not
high.
all I'm doing though. It's an emerging candle. An emerging
Okay.
candle is the first time price has ever gotten to this point in the history of ever.
Okay.
Right? Price has never been at 118 at this point, right? But I'm not marking the high because I don't see that as a strong point,
You
just
do
like I
from the
don't on the
body.
smaller time frames when we're
Yeah.
talking about that, right? I see that just as downward pressure, if anything.
Yeah.
But what do I see? I see this as a break spot is essentially what I'm grabbing. And when I grab these halfway points, I'm essentially just grabbing a halfway point between two break spots. So I know I'm going to have a very consistent level there. It's not going to change on me if I delete the chart and redo it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the same level.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
But that's all I'm getting. An emerging candle, the first time price has ever been here, you're marking the break spot. That's all you're doing. Now on the smaller time frames, it ends up being insanely effective.
Okay. And yeah, so you're marking that from like all those levels are from like if you
The
scroll
far,
left, right?
if I scroll left,
Yeah,
there's
it's just
nothing
that
past
that
this.
rally right there, or like
I'll show you max daily.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Look, here's the highs. Price has never been above 20s, never been above 26. Here's 50s, right?
Okay.
48, 49,
Yep.
45, 11s. Look, see?
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Price
All
has
right,
never
yeah.
once been this high. And this
Yeah.
is what I
Okay.
call this, I mean, it's what everyone calls price history. This is something you've already been using.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Okay.
already kind of understand what I'm going from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Price history is very important. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
when I'm drawing it on this time frame, it looks like shit. I mean, it's a lot of levels right here, but it's not for the daily
Yeah,
time
but
frame.
it's
Remember,
consistent
this
for
is
you.
it's for helping us on the smaller time
Yep,
frame
yep, yep.
because price history is giving us everything here. And it's very
Yeah,
easy to remember this. Emerging candles, that isn't hard. You're just marking the
yeah.
closes
Okay.
and then you're marking halfway points whenever the range is too wide. If it's
Yep,
if
yep.
it's like $4, $5, $6 wide, throw a halfway point in between there. It's not hard to grab you a
Yeah, yeah,
fib from
yeah.
here to here and throw the orange line in between.
Yep. Okay.
And that gives
That's
you
good to
all
know.
the levels from the bigger time frame. Now, if you want to practice that, do that on as many charts as you want. I focus on mainly tech and the bigger weights, of course,
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
each sector, which I'm sure you do too. Um,
Yeah, just yeah. I've just
yeah.
I've been yeah. I've just been looking at like well like with the futures. I've been looking at like MNQ, right? And then so I trade off SPY and QQQ though. That's like all I look at usually. And
That's all we look
IW
at in chat.
SPY, QQQ, and IWM, and that's it.
That's good. That's all everyone looks at in chat,
Because I
man.
don't. I feel like I don't know. I feel like
Those are the sectors of the market. Those are the
yeah.
only things you need to be paying attention to.
Okay.
You have SPY, which is a conglomerate of everything.
Yeah.
QQQ, which is tech based, and then you have IWM. That's small caps. That's everything that tech and
Okay.
SPY isn't.
Okay.
So whenever
Just
you see
making sure.
SPY moving up, but none of the popular names are trending, it's because IWM is probably kicking ass that day.
Yeah, like today, IWM was moving up.
Like today, like the
SPY
past couple
was
weeks,
in Q. Yeah. Yeah.
the market's been moving
Yeah.
up, and everyone's like,
IWM's
"Why?
been
Tech slowed
killing it.
down." It's
Yep.
because
Yep. Yep.
small caps are catching up finally,
Okay.
but they
That
don't
makes sense
weigh
to me
enough
now.
to do anything on their own. So
Okay.
let's say tech was tanking
Yep.
while
Yep.
this is
Yep.
happening.
Yep.
What do you think SPY is doing? If tech is tanking and IWM is pumping, what is
Oh,
SPY doing?
SPY tanking too, no?
SPY is probably tanking or it's slightly sideways. So it's probably like a slow downward trend because small
Okay.
caps are moving up and you have bigger weights moving down. So
Okay,
it's
so
probably slightly
SPY.
down.
So SPY count is like both? Like
Yeah.
okay. All right. All right. That makes
Here,
sense.
let's do a breakdown. Let's do a breakdown. This will help you out really, really quickly. And it's very, very easy to remember this, and you can access this anytime you want. So, SPY. SPY is a conglomerate, the S&P 500. This is the conglomerate of everything you see in the stock market. This is tech. This is healthcare. This
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
everything you could think of. It's in this, right?
Same
If you
with
click,
Q, no?
no,
Or
Qs are just tech.
Oh, okay. All right.
Triple Qs are just tech.
Okay. All
So
right.
if and I'm going to show you something cool here in a second. So let's go to SPY first. Let's focus on this.
Yep.
I'm going to show you better tech in a second here too, so you can see a more focused tech sector, and it's part of SPY. So SPY, this is everything, right? So let's go to analyze. These are the weights of SPY. So Apple and Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, these are essentially, what is that, 5, 11, 18, 19, probably about 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Between these four tickers, they are 20% of the S&P 500.
Okay.
But these are three different sectors. You have tech, Nvidia's tech, Amazon is discretionary. That's XLY, discretionary. Now let's
Okay.
go to these. So let's say I want to look at tech. This is QQQ, by the way. This is so
Just
the difference between QQQ and XLK, by the way, XLK is tech. That's what we're looking at right now. All this list right here, XLK,
okay.
that's
Okay.
tech. Heaviest sector in SPY. They're about you can see they're almost 30% of SPY. Apple and Microsoft are pretty much the majority of that sector,
Okay.
right? So if these both pump, XOK is probably pumping, which means SPY is probably seeing a little bit of green from its largest sector. So that's just kind of good to think about. Think about it as like a big ass pie. These are all the slices. These are the slices within the slices, right?
Mm-hmm.
All
Okay.
right, so that's your tech. This is what makes this is what I call better QQQ, because this is just tech. The difference between this and QQQ is that the triple Qs have a mix of discretionary, comms, and other sectors within it that don't step out of the tech sector. So you'll see like Amazon, Tesla, and triple Qs, but you won't see them a part of healthcare or comms. Those, it wouldn't be a part of that sector, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why triple Qs are a little bit different than SPY, because it's not just tech. There is a lot more than that. It's the Nasdaq. It has more than tech within it. Whereas XLK, which is information technology, by
Just
the way,
tech.
just so you know,
Okay.
yeah, is just tech. It's going to be Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia. These are the first three names your brain should think of when you think of tech:
Okay. Yep.
Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia.
Okay.
All right, so let's go back to SPY.
Like
So
yeah.
these are the sectors that make up SPY. You have tech, healthcare, banks, discretionary. This is your Amazon, your Tesla, your Nike, your Home Depot, your McDonald's.
Okay.
Communication services. This is your Googles, your Meta, your Netflix, your Comcast, your Disney. Industrials, which again, you see, I only watch the top five.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
because these are the major five. I only really need to watch these five intraday to give myself short-term direction. Now, if I want to add the other ones, I can. But if in a day, let's say all of these are dumping and for some reason SPY is flat, what is causing that? That would mean that all of these are pumping their ass off. And we saw that. If you remember, if you were here, or if you looked around the markets during right after COVID and as Russia was invading Ukraine, the
Mm-hmm.
energy sector started popping off. Energy isn't even that
Okay.
much of a weight,
Yeah.
but it
Okay.
moved SPY on its own just because of how much it moved. So that showed everybody just how impressive energy was doing that at that time, which
Okay.
right now they've cooled off.
Yeah.
But that's just a good example. Again, you won't see that a whole lot, but that's a good example.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
so you really want to mainly focus on tech, which again, strongest sector in the market, heaviest sector in the market, most popular sector in the market. I mean, it's the cool kid at school.
Yep.
Healthcare. It's basically the ghetto kid at school. Nobody wants to talk to this kid. It's not popular, but it's heavy. It has a heavy pull on SPY. It is 13.5%. You can see between these two, it's 40% of SPY.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
very important. Banks, 12.5.
Mm-hmm.
Discretionary, 10.5. Comms, 8.5. So you have almost
Okay.
60
Yep.
to 70% of SPY right in front of your face, just between these five sectors. And that's why I look at
That's what you
these.
hold. Okay. Yeah.
When you see me on stream or when you see me in chat,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm watching these for that exact reason. So if healthcare is falling, tech is falling, banks are falling, comms are falling, discretionaries, if I see all of these having the same trend, I have to instantly assume SPY is most likely also falling.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
just gives you good short-term direction. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's what makes up SPY. And you said you didn't know the difference. I just wanted to make that very clear, because that's
Okay. Yep.
that's a very important basic.
Yeah. Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
the sectors of SPY, Qs being a little bit different than SPY and XLK, and then of course IWM. That's your small caps. You seem
Mm-hmm.
to already understand that, so that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I probably like probably knew that a while ago, but I just probably threw it out the window.
It's okay.
With like
Totally
certain
fine.
things, I just like I throw it out the window. Like if it like looking at every single candlestick pattern, like it's like it gets too much, and then I just like
No,
completely
it does. It's a lot of
just
shit to look
I
at.
just don't look at every pattern. But like yeah, like I definitely gotta I gotta look at like your I think even in your BB the course you have like like certain patterns and stuff, and I saw like you have the quizzes and stuff, like the good patterns, I guess, to learn and stuff. Like I look at like
Let me show
hammers,
you the.
like shooting stars and all that, right? Like those are like big, and like tweezer bottoms or stuff like
Here, we'll go
that.
through some basics like that.
But yeah.
So this is where I want you to start accessing whenever you
Okay.
have questions about candlestick patterns. Go to the. Give me a second, because I'm BB Bootcamp. Here we go. Candlestick pattern flashcards. These are all of the important candlestick patterns that you need to know that me and Leland use every day, every
Okay.
week, every month,
Yeah,
every session. We're using these candlesticks. So
Okay.
BB Bootcamp, beautiful. It's an easy quiz. It's not hard at all.
Okay.
I think you go through it.
Yeah.
There's also some other quizzes in here if you want to go through those.
Mhm.
Understanding options, candlesticks, volume, fibs. Day trading with the levels. This kind of makes you go through a couple examples of entry and exits, and then going through them and selecting it. So that
Okay.
helps too. Which I made pretty much all of these. Leland made this flashcard quiz, so
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
in house.
Yeah.
So
I'm
go here if
definitely
you
looking
ever
at that.
if you ever want to just run
This-
through practice. This is how I learned, man.
Okay.
I would go through it 10 times over until it
Yeah.
was stuck in my head, until I memorized it.
Well, I used to know every pattern, dude, and then I just like, because I
It's
was
just a
learning
lot.
other
It's too
things, I
much.
just threw out the patterns. Because I was like, I was reviewing patterns, and then like patterns of like flags and like pennants and all that, and patterns of like
Mhm.
candlesticks and like the levels, and like I'd start throwing out like the candlestick stuff, because I was just getting like I was learning like a lot, and like I feel like I was learning like things I didn't need to learn. Like I guess like
Trust me, man.
all the
You're telling me a
patterns.
very common
So
problem.
like
This happens to a
yeah,
lot of
and I'd
traders.
like get overwhelmed because I was learning way too much stuff. I feel like I needed to
That's
like just
trading
learn
nowadays
certain
because
things and like simplify it a little more.
there's
But
just too
I don't
much
know.
information being thrown out there these days. Everybody's getting
Yeah,
a too
and then
much of it's
Twitter doesn't
sensory
help.
overload.
It's yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Twitter does not help at
There's
all.
just so much stuff everywhere. Yeah, but yeah,
There
no,
is
I'm
one
gonna look
guy
at that
I
though.
am subscribed to on Twitter. I'll link you
But
to him.
yeah,
It's the
I
only
just
Twitter
need
I'm subscribed to.
I just need this one guy Bueller. That's it, man.
That's all you need.
Exactly. No, yeah,
So
like once I found
so
your
we've gone
channel too,
through.
man. Like I saw like how like your videos were like everything was just more like like just simpler, I guess, like level wise, and like how your
It's
charts are like much
structured,
more yeah,
simple. It's planned
like I
out.
like that
Everything's
better
set.
because like having like so many like EMAs and stuff gets overwhelming, and then people start adding in like the RSI and MACD. Like I was learning that a while ago. So like
Mhm.
this was like my first year. Like I like threw in
I
RSI
just had a
MACD,
huge thing about that in
and
my stream.
it's like yeah, you don't want that stuff. I
Well,
feel like
I was telling everybody like this is like what you're telling me, bro. Like I'm not bullshitting you. Like
yeah.
thousands of traders that I've talked
Okay.
to
Yeah.
have gone through this exact scenario.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
going through too many strats and then
Yeah.
like what strats you started on. Like it's a thing. I'm not joking. Like
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
it's a
Okay,
new
that's good to
thing.
know
One
though.
year it's
Yeah.
Ichimoku. One year it's TTM squeeze.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
year it's RSI MACD
Yeah.
and
Ichimoku
Keltner channels
candles.
with Bollinger Bands. It's
Yeah.
like
Yep. Yep. I
it's
did
every
that.
year
I
it's
used
something
that
different.
too. Yeah.
This year it's fair value gaps and supply and
Yeah.
demand.
The
Next year
ICT
it'll be
stuff.
price history. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, ICT,
Yeah.
another trending
That
strat.
started
Like
popping up. Yeah.
it's
There's just
it's
so
just how it
much.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I started out, pre-market was trending. Like I didn't know anybody that talked about pre-market high, pre-market low. Like I had to invent. Like I'm not
Okay.
saying I invented it. Clearly, other people have done it before me. No shade.
Yeah. But yeah.
But nobody, I didn't see anybody talking about it, using it in their
Okay.
trades.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a good initial find. Like if pre-market high breaks and you have a bigger time frame level farther out, that's a good initial breakout, and you could aim for that farther time frame level. It's
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
the hell. But
Okay.
yeah, no, it's crazy. But wait, am I still streaming?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I
I
wanted to
see
show you a
your
couple more things.
Discord. Yeah.
Okay, so you need this channel. We got
Yep.
that. Live trade series. This I would go to the top, dead ass.
Okay.
I would go to the very very top of this channel, and I would start over.
Yep.
But these are live trades that me, Devin, Leland, username, and a couple of my friends have taken. We
Okay.
record them, or we went back over them as examples and just kind of covered what happened. So some of them are small, some of them are a little longer, but all of them cover live trades that were actually taken by us using these strategies that are from this channel right here.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, these are all the strategies that I literally just went over with you. The 40%, the 80%, the lead test, and the buy the dip entry. These are the only trades that are taken in this entire channel.
Okay.
So
That's
feel
good to
free to
know.
go through these, abuse the shit out of these videos. And then the scalp trading series. It's the same thing, except this was following me on a
I
journey
watched.
trading
Yeah, I haven't
SPX sim.
finished that video, but I watched half of it. I think you did
Okay.
the big 2 hour one. I watched like half
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that.
It's all of these combined into
Yeah,
one
yeah,
is
yeah.
what it
Okay.
is.
Yeah, I gotta finish
I think
watching
there's
that
like
though.
18 episodes or some shit.
Yeah.
But you have that. I also have some extras in here because you're a member of chat. So this is where I dropped a lot of links. So if you want to go here, you have this as well. It's pinned to the channel. But base build strategy, lead test, swing trading workshop. So all kinds of cool stuff. But if you scroll down a little more, I have extra videos in here too. So things that are not uploaded to my channel, unless you're like a YouTube member. That's what these. That's where these are. So everything that's on my YouTube channel, I still give to my Discord members. Discord gets everything I make. So you have a couple of those. I have a couple extra ones like the lead test, some other risky stuff. Again, you'll see I'll say risky day trade sometimes. That's those different example I was showing you where you could take it right at the 50%, leave a
Yeah, and
stop
not
loss
wait
right
for
above
the
it.
lower
Sometimes it
high.
works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yep.
So that's
And
what you'll call risky versus passive, which is
And I
what I
gotta
was
work
showing.
on just taking it off the lower high, like you said, right?
Exactly. That's what you need to be
better
focused on initially.
confirmation. Okay. Yeah.
Over time, man, as you get more confident, I promise, man, you'll be telling me, hey, Bueller, I just took this. It just hit the 50% one time, and I took it down and scalped it, and I was out, and it was 30% on the same day. It's like Jesus,
Yeah.
Blink, like you're gonna be talking to me this way within like
Hopefully.
a couple months, bro. I already know it. I already
We'll
know
see.
it.
Hopefully.
I'm not even
Yeah.
pushing you. It's just gonna naturally happen, man.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
comfortably go through this routine day in, day out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How to view your stop loss? Good video there.
Yeah, I've been dude. Like I look at this stuff like daily, but like the thing is though, I sometimes feel like I look at the wrong stuff and I focus too much on like the wrong.
But hey,
stuff.
that's what we're talking about here now, though. Now you have
Yeah.
a set plan for what to
Yeah,
look
that's
at.
what I like
how to
though.
look at it.
You have like a set thing here, like daily levels, and then the
I'm
supply
honestly impressed,
demand.
though, Blink. You've gotten pretty far on your own, and
Yeah,
you've done a lot of the correct things without anybody really giving you confirmation. Like you have no idea, you know.
yeah,
But I think it's a beautiful thing, man. I think you're on the right track. You already look at things the right way. I think now that you're getting a more refined path, I think you'll be on a better routine and better path for success, or for whatever you're trying to reach. Just taking better trades or
yeah,
making
yeah,
money
yeah.
doesn't really matter. I think
Yeah,
you're gonna kill it.
just consistency and just yeah.
I can't wait to see you.
That's the
You
goal:
said,
consistency
but hey,
and learning properly.
if you ever want to, you can always DM me a trade review. I see that you have your trade log, so I'm not
Okay.
going to bother you. You seem to already be on
Yeah.
top of it. But if you ever want to, I'm
No,
always
yeah.
here. If
Sometimes
you
I'll
want to
post
share
my
the chat, you
trades
can.
in the chat, but yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Well, like
Yeah,
yeah, I could post more like in your chat, like, all the trades. But
Oh,
like,
you meant
sometimes I take.
your chat thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, my
yeah.
bad.
No, like sometimes I like. Yeah,
No, be
I gotta.
comfortable.
Well, the thing is though, it's because I'll take like I started recently taking like the flag stuff, but like really I've been like the flag stuff. It's been good.
It just needs to be more consistent. Use those fibs.
Yeah, exactly. I need more like so like I took that one. It was off the there was like the like I took that trade off the fib. But then there was also a flag there forming, which you could have also taken that like after. But like yeah, usually like I like overall though I like yeah I like taking like the pullbacks to the from like the previous high day or like the high or low pullbacks, with the fib confluence and like other stuff like EMAs and
A bunch
stuff.
of confirmations all at once.
Yeah. So that's like the main like I'm just trying to work on and yeah, and then like you like from your method and stuff like with like all the different entries, the 40, the 80, like the
And they're not that like
is
different
good.
from each other.
Yeah, that's
they're
why
just
I like.
they're just for
I
different
like.
uses.
Yeah, you literally like literally what I've been doing is kind of like basically like the pullback like retest thing like confirmation thing that you.
I saw that, man, and I was really impressed.
So like that's why it's like
how
it's
you're
like
already
your videos
trading
are
the
good.
best style.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I just obviously your videos will help me more and like all that. So
they will.
Good. Yeah.
I think it's just going to be a light bulb moment. I think you already kind of know what you need to know. I just think you need to put it in the right order now. And you're like, oh shit,
right,
I'm good now.
Yeah. I think you're right with that.
And you're never at a point in trading either, Blink, where you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, you know
I'm
everything. Yeah,
I'm done. Like,
gotta,
yeah, exactly.
always,
It's like CS.
Yeah,
There's always something else to learn. There's always something else
exactly.
to grow on. Like, you're never done.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
You're never the best.
Yeah. I've heard that. Yeah, you it's not like an end game. It's
exactly. There's no end game at all. Definitely never think about it like that.
Yeah, it's not single player.
Exactly. Not exactly. That was D-Touch said that. That was so genius the other day.
I think I remember hearing that. What was it? It was on.
He's
It
like,
was in your Discord, right? It was like
yeah, he's like, it's a single player game, but
single
we're all in
player.
the same chat.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
glad
we
we had this
do.
call, man. I had a long ass call with Sherman today too. We had
Yeah,
a
no,
3.5 hour call.
yeah. Hopefully, I'm
We
not
talked.
taking up your time too.
No,
Cause
no, you're not. I'm literally not doing anything. I'm
okay,
not
just
even
making
joining my
sure.
other server.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
No,
literally
I
just this, and then I'm chilling the rest of the day.
yeah, no, yeah, like I'm glad we had this call too, because like I feel like I was like I needed direction, you know. Yeah,
you just needed structure, dude. You're
yeah,
looking at price
structure.
action the right way. I like that you're already educated.
Yeah,
You just need
I'm
structure.
trying.
That's
Yeah,
that's all you're missing.
and like I just look at stuff like in so many different
You know what's
ways.
crazy?
Yeah,
This just now hit me too. Some of the best traders in my chat have come to me in the exact same fashion you're coming to me right now. You know, you're
yeah,
someone who knows what you're talking about and you know what you're looking at. You just don't have the structure yet. Leland,
yeah. That's
best
good to
example
know
I can
then.
give you. Leland literally came to me as like the dumbest smart person I ever met in my life. Like, dude's a
Yeah,
genius, knows exactly how to read this stuff, but he had no
yeah,
routine, no
yeah.
plan, no
That's like
structure.
literally, yeah. That's just like
I
me.
gave him the
Yeah,
talk that I'm literally giving you right now. A
yeah,
year later, this is where Leland is at. A year
yeah. It's
later.
actually nuts. That is
Kicks
actually
fucking
nuts.
ass. He does trades better than I do. I'll tell people straight up. That dude trades way better than I do.
Yeah, like he's got some nice trades. I see
Dude's
in
just a
his like
legend.
reviews and stuff. Yeah, no, that's nuts though. Like that's good. Like
He'll
you
always
helped
give
him
me
out. That's
credit, but
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I always give them credit. You have to put the work in
yeah,
yourself.
no,
Like
hundred
you can't just
percent. It's
show up
not
and do nothing.
exactly. Yeah.
But just by looking at this chart, I'm going to show you this exact chart. But I did this on May 30th, right? I
Mm-hmm.
did this literally a little under 2 weeks ago, right? And then this is like the
Yeah.
final result of it. So
Yeah.
what I see when I see this is tech is up here, comms up here, so they're leading, so they're kicking the most ass,
Yeah.
right? Discretionary is kind of in the median of kicking ass range, kind of in the range. They're kind of range trading.
Mm-hmm.
Banks, industrials, base materials, healthcare, real estate, staples, utilities. The ones that are the lowest to the side of this have the most probability of pulling up. The
Mm-hmm.
ones that are here have a good probability as well, just not as much as these because they're not as sold off or as down or as weak. And then
Okay.
the ones that are in here are doing well. They were the ones that were just in this improving or in this weak area. They're coming back up. They're not looking bad. So
Mm-hmm.
they're probably up on their chart, but they probably have room for more after a retest. That's kind of how I see this chart. And that's
Okay.
how I explain it to my chats and stuff. But
Yeah,
then you go to
that's
this chart now. Let's go to, so that was about 13 days. Let's add those 13 days.
that's nuts. How you just look at like
All of these
so
went
many
up.
things.
Here, let's zoom it out actually. So
Yeah.
remember, I said comms and tech would probably slow down the most. Discretionary, I said, would either range trade or slow down. They ended up bouncing actually. They held,
Mm-hmm.
ended up moving higher for the week. Comms, tech slowed down. And even though SPY kept continuing higher, how come it went higher even though tech and comms went down? Why is that, Blink? Why did SPY keep going higher even though two of its five largest sectors were going down?
Small caps were going up.
Small caps. You
Yeah.
have banks going up, you have
Yeah.
industrials going up, you have base, real estate,
Oh, like
energy,
all the other
utilities,
stuff.
healthcare,
Yeah. Okay.
staples.
Yeah.
That's two of the largest five sectors, too, banks and healthcare. Two of the
Mm-hmm.
five. The other three are right here. One of them is going up. So if three of them are going up and two are going down, well, I mean, that's simple math. I think we know which one's winning there. 3 against 2. SPY's probably slightly green. And that's what we've been seeing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Slightly green days on SPY. So that
Okay.
makes
I
sense.
see.
But what you've seen is people rotate. And you've seen it in tech charts too. If you go back to tech charts haven't reversed. They've just slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they needed to do for the small caps to catch up.
Okay. Yeah. Are we? Wait. Are we currently in
What?
a range? Or I was looking. I forget what I was looking at. I think it was. It was a couple weeks ago. Spire Q was in a range. I think. But yeah, never mind.
It was. Here.
Or
Let me go back to my
something.
chart. Let me show you this.
I don't remember
Let's
what.
talk bigger time frames.
I don't remember what I was looking at. Never mind.
I'll show you this, and this will help you out. Let me do.
I definitely got to work on the bigger time frame stuff though. Also.
Yeah, this is gonna be super easy for you though. This is probably the easiest explanation I can give you out of everything we've talked about today.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I use
Yeah,
these smaller time frames,
Okay.
you saw me. You don't have to worry about all this. That was for a picture. But so on the smaller time frames, what is the time frame that I'm using to help me on that time frame? The daily, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So what can I use to potentially help me in the same exact way? What can I help me on the daily? I can zoom out to the weekly or the monthly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, both of those are correct answers. I prefer the monthly, but if you want to go ahead
Okay.
and use the weekly, you're not going to see me complain because you're still just again using very effective levels. You're going to have more levels than me, but we're going to end up having a lot of the same major levels. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say it really doesn't affect that much. But if you do the weekly, stick to it. If you do the monthly, stick to it. Don't jump around. Stick to
Mm-hmm.
one of them.
Okay.
So let's clear this chart. This is how I draw my levels for the bigger time frame. Let's go to the monthly. Zoom on over, and then I'm going to show you the range trade that you were just mentioning because you are correct. We were range trading. We're not anymore.
Yeah.
We've
Okay.
been in
That's
a
what it
bullish
was.
breakout.
Yeah.
So in the exact same fashion you saw me chart the daily with emerging candles, I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
the exact same thing with
Yep.
the monthly.
Okay.
And you know how to use this, right? The different drawing sets,
Uh, well, I
or
use
you don't use TOS. That's right.
well, yeah, I don't use
You have
TOS. I have
the what is it
Trading
called there? The
View.
tree, the charting tree or something.
Yeah, Trading View.
Yeah. But what do they call that setting though? Don't they call it like a tree or something where you can have like this is my chart for bigger time frames. This is my chart for smaller time frames.
I forget, or it's just a layout. Like you
Layout. Okay.
make layouts.
Okay. Perfect.
That's
So
what I do. I just
you
make
use that though?
layouts. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
just make
Perfect. Then
layouts.
you're doing exactly what I'm doing then.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So I'm gonna add a couple halfway points because there's a couple huge ass ranges. Oops. um, for example's sake, I'm just gonna add a couple of these. It's good to add the halfway points. It's a little tedious, but after you've added them, you don't really have to ever to go do it again.
Yeah.
You know, I don't sit here and go redraw this all the time. I just do
Yeah.
it for really to kind of show people.
Yeah.
So
Because
once
you
you're
have a
past that,
set.
you understand that though, right? The monthly levels, the emerging, the halfway points. You get that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I watched that
So now
video
we're going to
too.
go to the
So
daily because that's the time frame we're concerned about, right? The
Yep.
daily, the bigger time frame. So
Yep.
I do like to use recent price action in this sense, and you'll also see Leland does as well. So you'll see like right here, I'm not really going from the far left. And if you want to, be my guest. That's even better than what I'm about to do. But remember, the reversal before the recovery back down, right? What are we drawing? The supply, right? So essentially, we have some supply right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do the same thing from recent price action from this hook here, from this hook here. Whoops. From this hook here, you know, whatever you want to draw it,
Yeah.
add it, you know, and then of course the ones over here as well. But essentially, though, you should be looking at this time frame the same as you would the smaller time frame, right?
Okay. Yep.
So zoom in. What do we have here? Let me go back to this. You can see it. All right. So this is the consolidation you were talking about.
Yeah.
When
Okay. That's
when
what
we
it
got above
was.
403.75, I think it was, or 401.75. What is it? Yeah, 403.70. See, I was off 5 cents. I
Okay.
almost know my levels.
Yeah.
But this is the range we were stuck in. We got here after breaking this range. We broke out. We made a new high. You
We're
don't
stuck.
know a range is established until a low is held here, right? We don't
Yeah.
know the range is
Okay.
established to this
All
candle.
right. Yep.
So all that time went by without us even knowing,
Okay.
right? We could have kept moving up higher without stopping. So this is our range for now, and then we consolidated for a few more weeks, right? The breakout of this range just happened, and they even turned old supply into demand again because they broke it, that
Yeah.
above it,
Like
held it,
this.
moved
Yeah.
higher. So now this is demand. So
Yeah.
essentially, we don't have a range anymore. Essentially, right now we're on a bullish breakout, like a
Mm-hmm.
flag almost. This is what we call a bullish rectangle, you know, and this is
Yep.
why I don't call them flags or rectangles because that's an inconsistent term. A
Yeah.
consistent thing that I can do is going from the breakout to the high of that first move. And if it's still holding over that halfway point, then I know this is still bullish. I don't have
Okay.
to call it a
Yeah.
pennant. I don't have to call it a flag. I don't have
Yeah.
to call it this,
I
that.
gotta start using that. Like just doing it how you
Um,
do the halfway point.
but that's okay because it's not your fault that you call it that or that other people call it that
Yeah.
because every generation calls it something different.
Yeah.
Our generation calls them flags, pennants. The generation before them calls them rectangles, squares, like shit like that. Like they
Yeah. I
call
try
them weird
not to
stuff.
use like I just try to I do try to use
Terms
flags, but I just
terms will
didn't know how
confuse the
you
shit
did
out of
it.
you.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying though when you say a
Because you
flag. So
don't want to
it's
be biased, like
exactly.
using bullish bearish. Like you want to look at it like both ways, and yeah.
But again, you're going from the level that it broke. So in this case, 420.
Okay. Yeah. I see.
The level that it slowed down at. This is where
Yeah.
it pushed up to, slowed down at, and then it started range trading. So essentially, as
Okay.
long as it held over 420, 482, we were bullish,
Uh-huh.
right? And look, they gave us a halfway doji. And now, what do these candles mean to you? I want to see if I can open your mind up on this candle. What do these
Uh,
candles mean to you when you see this? Do you get scared? Do you get confident? Do you know what this means?
well,
What do you see?
well, that's a like a doji or like I think like a
Yes, you got that.
dragonfly doji, but
You got
it's
a doji. You don't have
seller
to
or
call it.
yeah. Okay, so it's doji. I see like buyers stepped in, like buyers pushed the price up, but sellers pushed it back down.
Yes, sir.
Um, and then we closed at like an area where buyers and
What does this
sellers
tell you though? Who's
are.
in control? Bears, bulls, nobody. What are we looking
I
at
think,
here?
well, like we close the body closed like at the same spot, so I'd say nobody, but
Nobody. You are correct. That was a
yeah.
trick question. You are correct.
Okay, just
Nobody
making
has
sure.
control.
Yeah,
So what can we do to
price is
get
equal here. Okay.
a play on this? Further confirmation, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is essentially just warming up the seat for you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What
Okay,
can tell us that it's definitely wanting to move higher? A higher open. A higher open. Now, what
okay,
happened if we got a lower open? If we got a lower open, then I'd probably have some bearish momentum stepping in here,
okay.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
essentially what's stepping in next. The higher open initiated it, which
yeah.
actually in this case it's a bullish kicker. That's very bullish,
Okay.
which is good. So, what is the target? Let's say we get the higher open. What is the target? Just using these two candles in our levels. What is the target after the higher open?
Just
What?
using the two candles?
Just using these two, this candle here, this level here. What do we got? What are our
Well, it
next? What are our next
depends.
two
I
targets?
guess 43335. Well, okay. So the high of that the previous candle, and then
The high of this one.
4335, and then that level
Yep.
you have. Those
Yep.
would be the two
Perfect.
targets. Okay.
That is essentially how you
Just
should
making
view
sure.
price action.
Okay.
Without, you don't
All
need
right.
to draw all that stuff. I just was drawing so you
Yeah,
could
yeah,
see it
yeah, yeah, yeah,
easier.
yeah.
But when you're looking
Okay.
at bigger time frames, that is how you should view price action.
Okay. All
Essentially, we already have bullish
right. That's
control.
good
We've
to know.
seen the
Yep.
bullish consolidation. We got a
Yep.
doji. And I'm glad you didn't sit here and say, "Oh, I don't know what this is," or "It's bearish," or "I get scared when I see these." You just said
Mm-hmm.
you just said nobody has control.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. I'll just wait, I guess. Yeah, that's exactly how you should treat these
yeah, yeah,
candles.
yeah.
We get the higher open.
Okay.
Basically, your mindset after the higher open is as long as I hold over the open and close of this candle, I'm probably getting a green day to this high or to this level here. And if you get
Okay.
anything over that, who cares? You
All right.
took
That's
profit
good to
into the
know.
high of this and into this target.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, like see, you simplified it there. Like I would be, I'd be thinking of so many different like
So when you
just
look at
random
this,
things,
when you look at candles
scenarios.
battling levels and taking levels and losing levels, you need to be thinking like a programmer. A
Mm-hmm.
programmer thinks in terms of steps, one by one by one.
Mm-hmm.
If this, then that. Write that down. If this, then that. If
Okay.
price holds over this, then it continues to go up. If price had a lower open and breaks under this, it continues to pull down. It's always a conditional format. If this, then that. It's never you never you never get to like this happening and then you don't know what to do next. You just start freaking out. You lose all your money. That should not
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Okay.
should only happen because you don't know what you're doing. This
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
happen because you do know what you're doing. You go through
Yeah.
the routine, you read the story of the chart to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
But that's the best
That's good to
explanation I
know.
have
Okay.
about that when I talk
Yeah.
about that.
Okay. Yeah. See, because like, yeah, I just didn't. I wasn't like I knew like if the bodies close at the same spot, no one has
Mhm.
control.
Exactly.
I just sometimes like I wasn't sure like because like I don't know. You look at so many different things. I wasn't sure um fully if like the top like the upper wick was like more significant because like this
Okay, so that's what I want to say
because
next.
it's a
The
bigger wick
variation.
compared to the bottom wick, you know. But
There's
then
only about a billion variations of dojis, where you
yeah,
get a longer
yeah,
wick on this side, a longer wick on this
yeah,
side, or the body's a cunt hair bigger, or not a cunt hair
yeah,
bigger, it's smaller. There's a billion variations. View
yeah,
all
and
of
I've
them as the exact same thing.
okay, okay,
Every single one
just
of
making
them
sure.
do not have control.
Okay, all
I don't
right,
care what the internet tells you. I
all
don't care
right.
what your
That's good
friends
to
tell you. There is no such thing as a
okay,
bullish or bearish doji. They are
okay, yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
nothing.
That's good to simplify
They
because
are.
I see when I trade like sometimes like I feel like I overanalyze too a lot of things.
That's okay.
Like I'll go like and it's like it but it like and then sometimes it like freezes me because then I just I'm at like
I'm the same way.
sometimes yeah but
I
like
just get to a spot. I'm
it
like,
depends
shit.
on
What do
the
I do?
day too, yeah. Like if
If
we're
you're in the mood or not.
clearly yeah that too honestly if we're like clearly like trending or like I don't know if price action looks like clear pivots and all that like yeah you're like yeah it's easier to like analyze but like yeah like choppy stuff wicks everywhere it's like always it's like harder obviously and
All right. So
then that
every
stuff
Sunday.
overwhelms me yeah
So every Sunday, and let's say there's a holiday on Monday, I'll do it on Monday if there's so.
yeah
That's when I upload those spy scenarios videos, and that's when you see me talk about the breakdown of what can happen this week. So let's
okay
zoom into
yeah I think
everything
I
I saw.
watched your last one you
You
posted
watched the one that was in the Bueller TA
yes
channel?
that was yesterday I think yeah you posted yeah you said there was I forget what it was you it was your Yeah, you were literally talking about on the daily the whole time. Is it 30
Before I talked about
minutes?
upside, I talked
Yeah,
about
yeah,
downside. Yeah, it was
yeah,
30
yeah.
minutes
That
long.
was my
Okay, you
first
watched
one,
the right
and then
one.
the gap there. You talked about that
The
gap right
gap,
there, and then
exactly.
that consolidation area was like a support level that
In
had
that
been
video,
held,
you'll
I
hear me
think.
talk about it too. The
Yeah,
scenarios, what's possible for bulls, what's possible for bears,
yeah,
what's
yeah, yeah.
possible for range trade.
Okay,
You need
yeah.
to be thinking about
I
this at
gotta,
all
yeah.
times, smaller
That's my
and
first
bigger.
video that okay, so that's good to know. Sunday, you do those
Oh, that was your
Sundays?
first one. Nice.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was my
every
first one because
Sunday.
I'm pretty, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I,
So I
I
gotta start
post them to
watching
give
those.
everybody kind of a good breakdown of what's possible for the week ahead, and then
Yep, yep,
also I drop economic news, calendars,
yeah,
earnings, I do
yep.
sector break. I do everything in that
Yeah,
video.
you went off on that video.
that
That's a lot
was.
for me.
I'm
That
happy that
was,
was your first one because that was
yeah.
the one I put the most work into so far, and that was
Okay.
the sixth one I've done.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you don't have to go back and watch the other ones. I mean, you can if you want
No.
examples, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that one's a good structured video.
Yeah, yeah. I watched that one. Yeah.
Um,
I was doing cardio, and then I was just I was just watching it because usually like when I'm doing cardio, I'm looking at my trades or like the charts through my Discord, and then I'll go
kick
home and
ass.
then I'll start like reviewing the trades and stuff too. So then I just decided to start watching your videos during
And
cardio.
this is a lot,
So
man.
yeah,
We've talked about the
yeah.
basics of
It's not.
charting.
I'm
We
not gonna
talked about
like I'm changing stuff up now. So like it's not gonna. I'm not
not
gonna
not
be
that much
like.
though. I don't want you to think that. I don't want
Yeah,
you to
that's the
think you're
thing.
changing up
I
because you're
gotta
not.
not
You're
change definitely too.
you're really
Yeah. Okay.
just you have a fucking like big. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
feel like yeah.
You have
Some
a big
obviously
ass.
feel like go on, go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say you have like a bunch of hair.
Yeah.
Right now we're just giving you a good trim is what you're
Okay.
getting. You
Yeah,
have the right
that's
hairstyle. We're just giving you the right trim.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
everything you need. I think you just needed that extra like
yeah,
reiteration or just re-explanation.
yeah.
I think that was
Okay, that
perfect.
makes sense. Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
a lot.
yeah,
What I
yeah.
was gonna say though is that you're learning levels, how to chart them,
Yep,
the ones that you leave forever, and the
yep,
ones that you got to re-maintenance every other day
yep.
or every day.
Hmm.
Supply demand, the basics of it, using
Yep,
it on bigger time frames to help you on the smaller, using it from intraday to help
yep.
you on the smaller as well. Doing that over and over, and it's not ever going to get in the way. If anything, it overlaps each other. So don't ever
Mm-hmm.
think that.
Okay.
Um, what else did we learn? We learned
And
entry
then
types,
yeah, entry types. Yep, yep,
candlestick patterns. We talked about
yep,
where to go in the chat for different resources.
yep,
The
yep, yep.
YouTube channel, we talked about a couple videos you could catch up on, like
Hmm.
workshop number 11. You said you saw that one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna rewatch
I
it.
would go to the lead test playlist. I'm gonna link you that right now,
Okay.
actually.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
I
Yeah, I
think
gotta
you should
rewatch
focus on
these.
this and then all of the information from the trading strategies channel within the Discord.
Okay.
Remember that one I was showing you? It's just called trading strategies. It's under the
Yeah,
stream
yeah, yeah.
clips.
With like the risk in the title, like
Yeah,
those
yeah,
ones,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
exactly.
just go from
It breaks
start.
down like
And
what
it's
level of confidence
40%
each type of
entry
entry
and
has.
yeah, yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
So,
yep.
and
I'm
then
gonna look
what
at
I
that.
want you to do, Blink, on your own
Hmm.
time as you're mentally trading, as you're going through your own examples with your own levels that you've
Hmm.
charted yourself, go through those examples in your head. Go to that smaller time frame, like in this example.
Yep. Okay.
Go to this, and maybe not every day will you find a clean example. You're gonna have some
Yeah,
choppy
yeah,
days.
yeah.
But try to figure out what time frames are you most comfortable with for viewing. Are you the type of guy that only needs the 5 minute? Are you the type of guy that needs the 1 or the 2 minute? Are you the type
Hmm.
of guy that is going to be entering on the 1 minute but using the 10 or the 15 minute to kind of keep them in or out of a trade or just to get you
Yeah.
into the trade? Maybe
Yeah, I
maybe that's just
use
what you
like
need.
I've been using the 2-5-10. I just have that on my
There you go. That's
chart, but
perfect. That's kind of similar to what I do actually. I like the 2. I like the 5. I like the 10. I
yeah.
sometimes use the 1 more than the 2 now, but the 2 is
Okay.
really fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I just been using the 2, but at the same time, it's like
Um,
I could use the 1, but it's like I don't know, just
But what
because
I was going to tell you,
yeah,
start coming up
going
with
through the 2.
plans. So, like for
Yep.
this day, like if this day the breakout level was basically 437.10.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for a close over
We're like,
this, a good rising volume close. We're looking for a retest of this. We really didn't get that today.
mm-hmm. We
Um,
just literally
so bad
like
example, but
quadruple topped on it or whatever.
yeah, pretty much. But it
Yeah.
shows you just how effective these levels are.
Yeah.
At
Well, I had
any
like an
point.
inch. The thing is, I don't know. Like even like there, I had like an intraday supply there off that wick. I don't
Hmm.
know if you do stuff like that, or you
No, I
just
do.
okay. Yeah,
I do.
just wondering.
If I like to be more
Or
consistent, I
just
like to use the previous days.
yeah.
But
So
if I'm
you
over the previous days and there's nothing here, yeah, I'm gonna go from this first time that it
yeah.
goes
That's
up
what
here.
I
I'm gonna
was
use this
doing.
for the rest of the day. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Do that.
Okay,
That's
just
smart.
making sure. Okay.
You're on the right track.
All right, just making
So
sure.
this is a bad example for
Obviously, I don't
today.
want to
So
like start adding in like extra
extra
like
shit. Yeah.
intraday levels from this day. Like I like how you're
Don't add
doing it
anything
though.
new.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything we've
Okay.
talked about, you're doing
Yep.
great on.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
All right.
Just trying
So
to keep
this is
that
a
in
bad
mind.
example because this is a range day. It really didn't
Yeah.
do much. So let's
Yeah.
go to this one. What I want you to do on your own time, and anytime you're just doing cardio or you're just chilling or you're
Mm-hmm.
just reviewing or you're visualizing the charts,
Yep.
I want you to go through those 4 types of entries that we went over together on the chart. Try
Yep.
to find some of them. Oh, here's a 40%. I could have taken profit here. This would have made sense to me. Don't be a Captain Hindsight to yourself that is making up some shit you would never do, right? If you're gonna go through these scenarios in your head, do shit that you would realistically do. You
Yep.
wouldn't buy at 430.17 and sell at
Yeah.
433.72.
Yeah.
What? Like that would be impossible. Like
Yeah.
no, you
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
So make sure you don't do that either. Which
Yeah.
I don't think you're the
Okay.
type of person to do that. I
No.
don't
No.
think
No.
you're gonna have that
Nope.
issue.
No.
Hypothetical situations are the worst. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but do that. That's your like forever homework from now on. Go through
Okay.
those
Yep.
go through those entries with those levels, with the supply and demand. Over and over and over and over and over until you are so comfortable with them that when you enter trades, it's with ease. That you're pushed into the trades because you understand everything at that point. Like you're
Yeah.
so confident in
Yeah.
everything that's lined up that it
Which I
just
gotta
pushes
work.
you in. You're not even second guessing it.
Yeah, I second guess like a
If
lot
you
of
have to
trades.
second
Sometimes I
guess, you're
don't.
not ready yet, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
That's not the end of the world, but that's
Yep.
a good indicator of, hey, this is where I'm at in my journey.
Yeah, cause like like I'll have like trades where I'll enter with ease, but then there'll be like trades where like I second guess and
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull fibs like from different areas, whether it's from the previous pivot to the high of the next one, and then the pullback to like the higher low or whatever, like the EMA, I guess. But like, and then like if I don't know, and that sometimes won't line up, and I guess like how you talked about is like I think you said like it's not like it's not gonna like always go to the like golden zone area, like it might leave without you and that's okay,
Yeah,
like
it's totally
type of
fine. If
stuff.
it
Yeah.
leaves without you, that's okay. That's not
Yeah,
part of your rules. You're limiting
exactly. Yeah,
yourself to
so that's
certain
like what I
types of
gotta
things.
work. Yeah, so then because and then sometimes I feel like, oh, I missed the trade, but in reality it's like
It's like, no, you
you have
didn't.
like you should have certain rules, and like you wait for like that golden zone type of area or like
See, you know what people say when what they're really saying when they say that? They're not saying, "Oh, I missed that trade." They're saying, "Oh, wow, look, I missed a possible profitable move." Like
yeah,
it has
okay.
nothing to do with if it's not your trading entry, then
Yep,
it's not
yep,
your
yep.
trading entry. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay,
And
yep.
so what if you're only taking one trade a day or one trade every other day?
Yeah.
At least you're sticking to your guns and sticking to what you planned,
Yeah.
whereas everyone else is being inconsistent. Remember the
Yep, yep, yep.
variable, that word. We talked about that. The moving variables. Fuck that. If it can
Yeah,
change
see
on
that's
you, if it's inconsistent, fuck that.
yeah, see intraday I think that's what like my issue is. I have too many like those moving variables where like how could I have
Yeah.
like made this trade better, but real in reality it's like it just it wasn't the entry wasn't there for like what I'm looking for. It's not like and then like I have
Yes.
like that's like what
I'm
the
so glad we had this talk, dude. You are fucking
yeah,
getting
because
it.
I was having issues where like I'd be like, oh wow, like what could I have done better like to get into this trade, but like you said, like it wasn't part of the plan, like where like the like where I could have entered, like it wasn't there, the trade wasn't there, like it wasn't there because it just wasn't there that day. That's it. I gotta
Mhm.
like stop over analyzing, like stop like trying to find out why the like
Why
how I
was I
could have gotten
wrong?
that
Why was I
entry. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Why did I do
exactly.
this? Why did I do this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're
So
not
that's why
always
I'm
gonna get an
happy.
answer.
Yeah, yeah. My like,
You'll see it in chat. You'll see people like there'll be like a random newcomer in chat or someone that's not been here that long or someone that's just kind of a troll, and you'll
yeah,
see them
yeah,
come in chat and they'll say, "What the hell is this move? What's the news?" It's like, dude,
yeah, yeah,
fuck the news. Trade the levels. Like,
yeah.
what?
Exactly.
Why are you
Yeah,
looking around for a reason? Like already? Like, why don't you focus
yeah.
on what's
Just
in front of you? Did you
exactly.
not
Yeah,
just
I like that.
think about it like this? Did you not just take all night and the day before to get these levels ready? Did you not just apply all that energy to get these charts ready? Then why the hell are you ignoring them just because a big ass candle appeared on your chart
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
because of some weird range trading? Why is
yeah,
that messing with you? Like
yeah.
stick with your guns. You took the time and energy to apply that information to your chart. Why don't you listen to it? That's how you should view it. That's
Yep,
how
yep,
I
yep.
look
And
at it.
that's like another thing, like how you said, like I like I try to view like that, but the issue was, like you said, I was getting random like variables, like how I was making my levels, so it would make
Hmm.
me less like more hesitant to take certain trades because it's like it wasn't a consistent thing I was doing. Like you have consistent a whole
Hmm.
consistent structure, so like
And
you
now
have confidence in that structure
there
doing
you
it every
go.
single day. So like yeah, that's like so now
It's like
like
your
yeah.
trade log.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You have
So
a
now,
consistent trade log, so you can
yep,
instantly
yep, yep.
see between each day and each week
It's always
what did you do differently and what was the different outcome and why was it a different
yep, yep,
outcome. You
yep,
can already see all those things. You can
yep,
go back and instantly change it based off of facts.
yep, yep,
Whereas
yep.
when you have these moving variables, it's like,
Yeah, the moving
well, if I
variables.
change
Yeah.
this, then it changes 18
Yeah.
different
See,
things. What the
that's
hell?
see. Yeah, yeah.